엘살바도르의 비트코인 채택을 맡은 샘슨 모어가 지금 비트코인의 가격은 여전히 매우 저평가되어 있고 여태까지 큰 이슈들 때문에 못 올랐던 상승분이 한 번에 오르면서 소위 슈퍼캔들이 등장할 수 있다고 합니다.
Bitcoin should be at 0.2M or 200K. And the CIO of Bitwise also said the same thing. Like, we're way undervalued from where we should be right now. And of course, that's just my gut feeling. And that's probably his gut feeling too. But it doesn't feel right. And usually what happens, I think, when things are kind of disconnected, is that there's a fast reconciliation. Like, it's got to reconcile all of this bullish news, and we're kind of stagnant in the 80s range, not even 100s range. It's just wrong, and it should adjust and right itself, which means 10K candles, maybe 100K candle, and that'll put us in the right. We'll probably see 50K in a day, and then we'll get to 100 later. But we will get there eventually.
I think we did the 10K candle in a day though. That's already checked off.
There's been 9, 10Ks. If you count the red ones, there's 9 or 10 of them. You see a 10K down and then 10K green. I think a 10X is within the realm of possibility, highly possible.
Okay.
Just because there's so much demand and there's limited supply. And the rest of the world doesn't yet realize that there's limited supply, right?
Yeah.
And we can print our way out of the problem that we created. We can adjust the rates or whatever, but there's nothing you can do with Bitcoin. There's only 21 million. And I don't think the world has woken up to that fact yet, or else they'd be scrambling to buy it already. Given that there is demand from the US, 1 million is the Bitcoin Act from Cynthia Lummis, right? To acquire 1 million. And then there's a proposal put forth to acquire about 2 million Bitcoin in the form of a Bitcoin bond or Bit bonds. So that's 3 million of demand. So where's that going to come from? And Sailor has 500,000 now. ETFs are still accumulating. And now GameStop is coming into the mix with $4.6 billion of cash. And there's other players with a ton of cash, like Berkshire, Apple. So what's going to happen?
Number go up.
Probably.
Go up.
It's just
So
a matter of when.
we're seeing all these Bitcoin purchases, but there's really no way to verify that. That could be paper Bitcoin. And I mean, that could be an explanation as to why we're not seeing that upside volatility.
I don't think it's paper Bitcoin. I mean, the hardcore crypto anarchist Bitcoiners are probably thinking, yeah, it's paper. But it's highly unlikely that it's paper. I don't think Brian Armstrong would want to go to jail. And I have more faith in Sailor that he has the Bitcoin.
그는 현재 시장이 10만 달러조차 넘지 못하는 이유는 공급 부족 및 강력한 수요를 고려할 때 비정상적이며 급격한 상승, 즉 하루에 10K, 심지어 50K 상승을 통해 이를 빠르게 해소할 가능성이 크다고 하는데요. 이를 뒷받침해 미국의 신시아 루미스 의원이 비트코인 100만 개 매입 법안을 제안했고 추가로 200만 개의 비트코인을 채권 형태로 확보하는 방안도 있다고 합니다. 하지만 제 채널에 등장하는 전문가들은 대부분 비트코인을 좋게 이야기해야 하는 위치에 있는 사람들입니다. 고객 자금을 굴리고 있거나 회사 자금으로 비트코인을 구매한 사람들이 많기 때문이죠. 시장에는 정답질은 없습니다. 그럼에도 많은 투자자들은 리스크를 감수하고 돈을 벌기 위해서 비트코인 시장에 뛰어드는 것이죠. 하지만 급등락하는 비트코인 시장에서 급등과 급락을 반복하는 차트를 보고도 개인 투자자들이 욕심과 공포를 떨쳐내고 평정심과 내 자산이 우상향을 하는 것은 말처럼 쉽지가 않으실 겁니다. 저 또한 전업투자자 생활을 오래 했지만 항상 좋은 자리를 기다리고 인내해야 수익을 조금씩 낼 수 있었습니다. 그래서 저희 앤드류 트레이딩 팀에서는 어떻게 하면 일반 개인 투자자들도 투자 시장에서 수익을 낼 수 있을까? 구독자분들께 어떻게 하면 조금이라도 도움을 좀 드릴 수 있을까? 고민을 하다가 구독자분들도 비트코인이 명확하게 상승 추세가 나왔을 때만 투자를 하실 수 있게 한다면 수익이 조금 나지 않을까? 라는 생각을 하게 되었는데요. 제가 전업 투자를 하면서도 개발자로 오래 일을 했기 때문에 저도 써볼 겸 유료 결제를 해서 결국 만들었습니다. 바로 비트코인이 정말 신뢰할 수 있는 상승 추세인 건지 횡보인지 하락인지 알 수 있게 도움을 주는데요. 지금 보고 계시는 건 비트코인 차트인데요. 제가 빨간색 네모 박스로 표시해둔 곳을 보시면 주황색 61선과 파란색 121선이 교차하는 구간에서 추세가 변동되는 걸 보실 수 있습니다. 실제로 지금 비트코인은 최근에 61선과 121선이 데드크로스 하방 교차하면서 조정이 나오고 있는데요. 제가 운영 중인 앤드류 관점 채널에서는 보시다시피 2월 25일부터 제가 줄 곧 비트코인 하락 관점을 제가 말씀드리고 리스크 관리에 대해서 말씀을 드렸고 많은 분들이 도움을 받으셨습니다. 물론 데드크로스가 난다고 해서 무조건 하락하지도 상승하지도 않습니다. 저희 앤드류 트레이딩 팀에서 개발한 알파빗 지표는 약 8개의 고급 추세 기준과 트레이더들의 노하우를 담아서 차트가 상승할 확률이 높을 때 신호가 나오도록 개발을 하였습니다. 그 결과 저희 전문 트레이딩 팀 또한 판단에 도움받을 정도로 만족할 만한 놀라운 성과를 보였습니다. 시중에 유료로 팔 수 있을 정도로 가치 있는 지표이지만 저희 앤드류 채널 영상을 시청해주시는 구독자분들께는 무료로 제공해드리기로 마음먹었습니다. 저 또한 며칠 밤새 테스트하며 어렵게 만든 지표이지만 구독자분들 성원에 힘입어 저 또한 도움을 받고 있기 때문에 어렵게 공유드리기로 마음먹었습니다. 초보자분들부터 경력이 오래된 트레이더분들까지 굉장히 큰 도움을 받을 수 있는 지표라 도움이 되실 거라고 자부합니다. 신청 방법은 하단 더보기란과 고정 댓글에 나와 있으니 많은 신청 부탁드리고 이번 하락장에서 모두 잘 살아남으셔서 좋은 성적 내시면 좋겠습니다.
I think the price is just, it's depressed. Like when we're flat and people are kind of worried, the hedge funds and prop trading firms, they can push the price down, right? They just have to, execute a sell order at the same time, right? Like from time to time you see a blip on the chart and we know like some guy fat fingered an order and that's why it went down. So the price is just a feed and it can be manipulated by, that's what got us down to like the 70s, right? And it takes time to recover because it's market sentiment. But the price feed is completely separate from the supply of Bitcoin, which is dwindling, which we don't really have an idea of exactly how much is available to sell. We have people saying, oh, there's always someone that will sell. There's always some whale that's going to sell it and buy like a mansion and a jet or something, right? But from all the OGs I talk to, none of them are really changing up their lifestyle. So I don't know who is selling. So again, it has to reconcile that the supply is being sucked up at this 80K range by all these big players. And that has to stop sooner or later. So it's not the IMF said, you've got to stop doing something. The document that was released is a 119-page agreement that the government of El Salvador and the IMF reached together. It's not they're being forced. Like the force would have been during the negotiations, but this is a formal agreement. This is why I theorized that they would stop buying. But then the president said, this doesn't stop. This probably alluding to buying or adding. But then the IMF also released a statement saying El Salvador is compliant with the agreement. So I'm not really sure exactly what's happening, but there are a bunch of theories floating around that there is a loophole. Either the time is not reached, which they have to stop buying, because there was a series of deadlines for different things to be shut off. Like Chivo shuts off at this point. They have to unwind at this point, the different points in this year. So it could be possible that they haven't reached the point at which they need to stop accumulating. Or there's a theory put forth that it is internal transfers, which could be possible because not all of their holdings are disclosed. When they first created their SBR, or they said like, we're moving a portion of our Bitcoin to this reserve. So that implies that they have other Bitcoin that is non-public. The other one is that they're donations, which I don't think it'd be possible to sustain at that level of one a day. Unless there's a really big whale that wants to give one a day.
Just one.